Oh, how to build a pub.
Ciao, and welcome to the Build a Pub podcast with me, Alex Ravenhall, the only person to think Fromage Frais was a French singer from the 80s. The Build a Pub podcast is a spin-off of my original series, Social Isolation. I invite guests onto the podcast to, as the name suggests, build their own pubs, from what they have on draft, to what food they serve, to what music they'll have playing, and hopefully share with me some anecdotes and thoughts on the institution that is the public house. I'm going to be releasing these podcasts bi-weekly every Wednesday and Sunday for the foreseeable future. If you can't wait that long, you can also find all 11 episodes of Social Isolation on this very channel, as well as all the previous episodes of this podcast. Special thanks also to Sam Nason for the graphics and Jack Petham for the jingle. Today, I am joined by Danny Roberts, who's going to build a pub so spectacular that Andrew Lloyd Webber is going to write a musical about it. It was in 1734 when Marcus Brisson, a French poet, stood up in the middle of his local pub and shouted, "Do not glorify drinking." And his words have run true to this very day. When listening, remember those immortalised words, and please remember to drink responsibly. Now stand up, do 5-star jumps, and enjoy today's episode of the Build a Pub podcast.
Oh, how to build a pub.
Right, it's that time of the podcast where I introduce my guest. My guest today is someone I met about a year ago when we both got cast in a Fringe show together. Since then, we've been involved in several escapades, my favourite being when we thought someone was in danger and we decided to walk past them and kind of lay down the law, only to have what turned out to be a couple laugh in our faces. He also managed to survive living in the same room as me for 2 weeks, so really he can do anything. It's Danny Roberts. Hello, Danny, how are you?
Oh, hello, Alex. I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm getting there, you know, as we just said, it's a bit warm at the minute, a bit too warm for me.
It's a scorcher. I literally cannot handle it. I'm sat here dressed in all white like I'm ready for Wimbledon.
Oh, funny. To be fair, you could do like a garden Wimbledon. I made a little golf course in my garden, which my dad wasn't happy with because I kept digging holes on the in the grass, and he wasn't a big fan.
My mum and dad have got obsessed with gardening over the course of the lockdown. And I'm too scared to dig any holes or do anything in the garden. So I'm quite jealous of that golf course, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I did get reprimanded for it, but at the end of the day, you know, we've now got holes in our garden, so I guess I'm the real winner there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what this weather's perfect for, Danny.
What's that?
A beer garden. You know.
Mate, I know.
That would really just take the edge off, I think. A nice cold cider, I think.
Oh, mate, that would be the dream.
Or somewhere on the mile as well. It does bring me back to Edinburgh this time of year. Danny Roberts, speaking of beer gardens, what is the pub to you? What do you, like, you know, what is your relationship with the old public house?
That's a good question, because I feel like I've got quite a tumultuous relationship with the pub.
Oh, really?
It's just quite an exciting one, but having said that, at the same time, it's completely not. So when I'm at home from uni, which is usually, you know, like 3 or 4 months out of the year, I go to the pub on a routine basis of once a week, every Monday, as a catch-up with my friends. Like,
oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's just the best way to do it. But then this time of year, routine goes out the window and pub just becomes just a hangout spot. Oh, in perfect weather in the beer garden. I love it. And I live in quite a rural area as well, so a lot of the pubs near me are like country pubs with, you know, nice views and beer gardens and nice food. So I'm really fond of the pub. Mate,
to be fair, there's something about a country pub. You know, all these country folk saying, "Oh yeah, we've got Wetherspoons and that," where you don't have a local where a guy played pool naked and got kicked out, do you? So really,
do you have the locals where a guy played pool naked and got kicked out?
No, but I wish I did.
I thought that was a little anecdote. Then were you the guy?
Yeah, well, you know, I was quite drunk, so maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. I can't really remember it very vividly. You have quite a famous, I don't want to say drunk, that's the wrong word, guy who goes to the pub, don't you? From around where you are. What's his name?
Oh, Bootlegger.
Bootlegger, yeah.
Yeah, he's from Wrexham, which is my neck of the woods.
Local celebrity.
Yeah, I've never seen him in the pub, which is quite disappointing.
Did you know what his local is?
Ooh, that's a good question. I've got a feeling he goes to the one when he goes into town itself. I've got a feeling he goes Royal Oak, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that because I could be lying.
Yeah, to be fair, we've got his biggest fans on this podcast, so they'll be listening out to everything you say.
No way.
Just to make sure that you're not bad mouthing him. Lovely stuff, Danny. I've forgotten my own questions, which is a really good start for me. You're doing great. I'm just completely cocking this up. Danny. What are your earliest memories of the pub?
Well, my very first memory of a pub, I believe, is this pub in a village near where I'm from that I used to go to all the time. Oh, I'm really sorry if you can hear the dog barking in the background.
Oh, that's fine. Mine go off all the time.
Yeah. Pub in a village neighbouring where I live, but I just remember it so fondly. It was like somewhere we'd go out for a meal, because obviously I was quite little, and they had a huge room off to the side through like an archway that was just like a kids' play area. And I just remember that so fondly.
That's proper sweet, that. Like, you don't get many of them anymore, do you? Or they're like proper dirty, proper unhygienic ones.
True. And I actually think that they're a good idea, because otherwise kids don't grow to love the pub.
Yeah, that's so true. I didn't realise this. In Scotland, you're not allowed in a pub until you're 18 years old.
Oh, God, I remember that all too well, because Edinburgh last year, when I lost my ID and they wouldn't let me into the venue we were performing in.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of fun, isn't it? How did you get in the end? Did they just take your word?
I think it was probably someone like a bit more authoritative than me, sort of had a go at them and said, look, he's a performer. And I was like, oh, well, you know. And eventually they let me in.
That is such a touch of stardom. I love it. Like, I love how we were kind of stood behind probably Will Castle while he just shouted at someone, because we were bloody stars, Danny, in one of the worst venues ever to grace the Edinburgh Fringe. I think it's fair to say.
Venue. Oh, I think about it sometimes, and it actually makes me feel a little bit sick.
I just remember the first day we went in. And I walked in there, and because you'd been before, so maybe you kind of... I mean, to be fair, you had a better venue in your first year, I think. But
I did.
I went in and I was like, is this a joke?
Yeah. It was bizarre. It was when we opened the door and it just fell off. Oh, what a time.
That's the best way to start, I think. Edinburgh's a great place, isn't it? It's got lots of pubs, lots of expensive drinks, Danny, and that nicely, very good segue, brings me on to my next question, which is... What is the most expensive drink you've ever had? And you can answer this one of two ways. It can either be the all-out most expensive, usually like a cocktail or like a double gin or something, or you can go for something that was ridiculously overpriced. So our good friend Alistair Winning went for a £5 VK he once had.
What?
Yeah.
Surely not.
No, it's disgusting. In Rosie's of all places, the bastards.
Oh, Rosie's. Oh.
I was really hoping for better from them. But yeah, what is your most expensive beverage you've had, Danny?
Well, I find this quite tough to answer, because... So I would like to think I'm quite tight when it comes to money. I don't like to spend too much on drinks or anything, really. I am really, really tight. So I'd like to think that the most expensive drink I've actually bought, I was already... really smashed when I bought it, so I don't remember buying it, if that makes sense.
Yes, I got you.
So I can't pinpoint one exactly, but I do remember, I don't remember the number, but I was in a place called Be At One in Birmingham, and my friend Meg bought 2 cocktails, and then I bought the exact 2 same cocktails after her.
Yeah.
And I got charged double the amount she got charged.
What?
I know. It's really disappointing.
Do you know how much it was on average?
Sorry?
How much was it about?
I reckon she got charged about £6 or £7, and whatever she got charged, I was definitely double the amount, which was really disappointing.
Yeah, especially cocktails are a funny one, because they are a lot of fun, but I mean, it's about 3 pints. You might as well get genuinely pissed rather than having like a single. And also, you get nothing in them; they're all ice.
Oh, completely. I'm much more of a, especially because of the prices of the pubs where I'm from being quite cheap. I'm much more of just a pint and a pint and a pint and a pint and a pint.
Yeah.
And it adds up to about, probably less than cocktails.
Yeah, no, exactly. So here's a good way of working out how cheap the booze are around you. From a tenner, how many pints can you get? From a tenner.
From a tenner?
Yeah.
Oh God, I didn't realise this was going to test me GCSE math.
Exactly. This is what the whole podcast is about, Danny.
So I would say, I know spoons are pretty much universal in terms of prices, but genuinely, the spoons around here are cheaper than other ones. Like, our cocktail pitchers are 2 for 10, whereas in the south, they're 2 for 12.
Yeah, South bastards. They're just,
I know.
it's capitalism,
I
really.
tend to drink in my local spoons. Oh, well, a pint of Carlsberg is 175. So what's that, about 6 of them? For a
6,
tenner?
bloody hell, that's that's a good ratio. That I'm on about, I'd say just 3 where I'm from, and I thought that was actually okay because I think down south it's about £5 a pint, isn't it, or 6 in London?
Yeah, I couldn't deal with being from the south. That would just kill me off.
Yeah, exactly. I really couldn't cope. And so yeah, but to be fair, that is deliciously cheap. That's actually the cheapest. I have a little tally going. Cheapest pint. Was it 175?
Yeah, 170. Me and my friend Christina, we go to our local Wetherspoons once a week, like I said.
Yeah.
And our round is 1 pint of Carlsberg and one small one small Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And the small glass Chardonnay 195, and then a pint of Carlsberg 175.
That is actually upsetting that is under £4 for 2 drinks.
Can you imagine?
That is genuinely. I'm going to move to Wrexham. I've decided.
Mate, honestly, take the bad with the good. Of course, it's not it's not all roses around here, but.
Not all roses, but cheap drinks. So there's a payoff somewhere in there. Lovely.
Honestly.
Thank you very much, Danny. But I'm not gonna lie. I don't care. You're here to pitch your pub, goddammit. Enough chit chat. Danny, welcome to your pitch. It's a big day for you, I know. Now, the first thing you need to do, obviously, is decide on your investor. You know, someone who's going to like what you're selling, someone you think you're going to work really well with, someone who is going to be a good business partner. So what I need to know, Danny, is the name of that person, so I can embody them. I'm an actor, you see, so I need to be able to, get into character.
Oh God! If you're going to embody this person, I'm very pleased. So I sort of struggled through a few different names, but I ended up settling on Peggy Mitchell from EastEnders. I just think, I know she's dead, so rest in peace.
Yeah.
But imagine she wasn't, and all that jazz. She lived most of her life being the landlord of a pub.
Yeah.
She knows the ins and outs, all the workings, and she was just a really formidable, excellent landlord. Like, she didn't take any mess in. She's what I want to be.
I'll tell you what, I agree with you. You wouldn't get anyone messing around. It'll be a nice pub, but there's a line. I think all the punters would know, and they wouldn't cross it.
Exactly. Like, you'd take a bit of a scrap, but you wouldn't have like a full-on brawl.
No, because then Peggy would come out and she'd be like, I'm not gonna do the accent.
Oh, come on.
I can't do it. I'm really. This is the one you picked. Any other, and I'd be very good at it. But never mind. So first things first. Peggy, she gets out of her Uber. She gives a tip. She's an absolutely lovely lady, and she looks up at Danny's pub. And the first thing she sees, Danny, is obviously the name of the pub. Now, it's a very important thing, the name of the pub. It's the identity of the pub. It's how people, relate to it. It's the name, and it brings with it a sense of community as well. So it's a lot of pressure on this. So what does Peggy see?
I believe that Peggy looks up and she sees in big sort of, I think maybe red writing, she sees, wait for it, it's actually I'm quite excited about it. She sees the Dragon's Pride, because I'm Welsh and gay.
Oh, fantastic. Oh,
Isn't
I love
quite
it.
Creative?
The Dragon's Pride. Also, there's like a Pride of Lions, is that right?
Yeah, actually there is.
There's a lot of levels to it. It's a really strong name. I love it. I was about to ask you to explain it, but you've explained it absolutely perfectly there. Lovely
Excellent.
stuff. Where would it be located?
Well, I like to think it'd be probably, because this is my sort of favoured area, in Wrexham town centre, on the high street. Nothing too above its stations, but at the same time, a sort of nice place where anything goes and everyone can come and have a laugh.
Oh, fantastic, yeah. So are we talking kind of... how big is Wrexham Town Centre? Is it kind of like more of like a pre-going out type place, or is it more of like a settle down type of situation?
It's a bit of both, really. So you could definitely feasibly have a night in the pub and then go to a club, because there are, a good amount of clubs in Wrexham. Or you could just drink at home and then go to the clubs.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you what, I just need those details just to really, get it into Peggy's mind where she's heading into. Right. So she's there, she's in Wrexham Town Centre, and she walks through the doors. First thing Peggy's going to do, obviously, is get a drink, man. Like, it's been a long day. It's very hot, as we said.
Yes.
She needs just, to quench her thirst. So she goes to the bar. You're behind the bar, a little bit nervous, but, you're just scrubbing down some surfaces just to seem like you're busy. And she walks up to you, and she goes, right, what have you got? And you have in front of you 4 drinks on draft. You have 2 beers and 2 ciders. Danny, what have you got to offer Peggy?
Well, Peggy, I would like to offer you a local treat because Wrexham actually has its own lager that has existed since the 1800s. So, for a little bit of locality, because, that'll drum in some people, we'd have the Wrexham lager option. And then we would have a bit basic, but I think it's easy to get basic with beer. Because I'm a fan myself, a Carlsberg. Because I'd like to think a Carlsberg just works for everyone.
It does. It's the people's drink.
It is. Like, you could drink it if you were, like, a really old man. You could drink it if you were, like, a young man or a middle-aged woman. It's very versatile.
I'll tell you what, you're talking about Carlsberg, and I look around my room, and there are 4 empty cans of Carlsberg, which means 2 things. Firstly, that I'm a big fan, and that I kind of need to get my room tidied up. So there's 2 levels to it. But I think, I agree. I love a good Carlsberg. And as well, Aldi, it's something like 18 Carlsberg for a tenner. Yes, please. It's cheap. And that's what you want, Dan. You want a cheap option.
Oh, yeah. For sure. And I think Wrexham Lager can be a bit more expensive. So I think the people who'd come and just want Carlsberg would be fine. But the people who want to have a bit more of an upmarket experience would be like, oh, I'll spend a bit more and get the Wrexham Lager.
Yeah. Now, whilst I think Peggy is very much sold to the earth and would go for a Carlsberg, I do see, I think the Wrexham Lager intrigues her. But before she goes for it, Danny, she looks over to the other side, and there are 2 ciders on draft. What ciders have you got for her?
Yes. Well, ciders, I'm not much of a cider drinker myself.
Me neither, to be fair.
I don't know, I think I used to drink a lot of cider when I was underage, but then I grew up. No, I'm joking. Then I just realised that beer is cheaper, which is probably no better. But to please the masses, because I know everyone drinks stronger with dark fruits, I'd have to have that.
Yeah, it's once again people pleasing. You like at the end of the day, this is a business, Danny, and Peggy admires that.
Exactly. I completely agree. Peggy would love it. So, strong with dark fruits. And again, because I'm not much of a cider drinker, I sort of struggled to think of another one. But I have tried one called Aspel once.
Aspel?
And that was pretty nice. Yeah, and again, like the sort of Wrexham Lager Carlsberg thing, it's a little bit more upmarket. And I think, if people are going for an upmarket option, they often like something they've not heard of.
Yeah.
So I think people would sort of see it and be like, oh, what's that? Let's give it a try. And really, it's just an apple cider, but you could sort of do a bit more of a sales pitch on that one than the stronger dark fruits.
Yeah, exactly. It's got something. It's just, I say, a little bit more sophistication to it. And if I walk into a bar and I'm feeling a bit fruity, maybe I'm trying to impress someone, and I walk in and I go, oh, what's that interesting asphalt option you've got there? Oh, well, maybe I'll give that a go. So I very much enjoy that as an option.
Okay, perfect. I think you'll like it, actually.
So, now Peggy, bless her, she's a bit of a minx, and she's actually tricked you. She doesn't want any of those. She was just trying to get you to tell her all about the pub. So, well played, Peggy. But no, instead she wants a wine. She wants a nice little wine. And your pub, as you know, the Dragon's Pride, has only 2 wines. It has a red and a white. And what are you going to offer Peggy?
Right, so for my red option, the only red wine I've ever tried and enjoyed is a Merlot. So I'd go for a Merlot, because I think also it could be used in cooking, which is sort of great for the food, which is going to be great. Mm-hmm. But a Merlot, mums and dads like it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, my mum and dad are not massive wine drinkers anymore, but in their 30s they were partial to an odd Merlot, I must say.
Definitely. I think it's just got that energy for the people that would come into the pub wanting something a little bit more sophisticated, a bit like the Aspel. And, we get some nice glasses in, and we'd probably do like a weekly wine tasting event or something.
Oh, fantastic. I'll tell you what's good on the Merlot is that, as you say, bit more at market, but also once again kind of salt of the earth. It's kind of got a dual personality to it because I think everyone drinks it,
For sure.
but they drink it poshly, a bit like a prosecco. So I think
Exactly.
I think that's a very, very strong option, Danny. What about the white?
See, the white I've got a little bit selfish on, and the white I just chose my favourite, which is a nice Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, fantastic! Right, I've got a question for you, Danny, because I know shit all about wine. Is a Sauvignon Blanc dry?
Ooh. I don't know. I drink it enough. I should know.
Yeah.
Let me Google it.
Because
Is Sauvignon Blanc.
Hey Siri.
All I know is that it's fruity. Oh,
Yes.
It's dry or sweet.
Dry. Oh, so maybe you're going for the sweet option.
So that's what I was thinking when I was compiling me thoughts. I just think it's nice and sort of sweet and a bit crisp, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, I'm so bad with wines. The only reason I ask is I work on a bar, and we have a Sauvignon Blanc and a Pinot, and all the time they ask me, "Can I have the driest?" And I have no idea what they mean.
Oh no! Yeah, I have no idea because in my mind, I know I sound really dense, but it's liquid, so it's not dry.
Thank you. I once again, I shouldn't be doing a podcast if I don't know what a dry wine is, but still,
Yeah.
I literally am completely on the same boat. I really don't understand it. Like, why would you want a dry drink?
I know, like maybe it means something to do with, you know how some drinks make you feel more dehydrated in the morning when you've got a bit of a hangover? Maybe it's more drying.
Oh, okay. See, that does make sense to me because obviously after you drink a lot of alcohol, you are very dehydrated and dry in the morning. So that would make more sense to me than it being like you drink something and you go, that was very dry. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, no. It's like, it's bizarre. I don't understand who sort of first coined that phrase.
Yeah, I bet it was some real pretentious knobhead that we won't even bother discussing. I bet he never had a Carlsberg. Right, let's go for Peggy. I'll tell you what. Actually, no. She's going to pick from the six you've offered, but she's going to take your recommendation. So, what are you going to recommend Peggy has to drink?
I think so. Peggy Mitchell, I like to think, is a woman. Like in EastEnders, she was a big, she was a big important figure in the square.
Yeah.
And I like to think, therefore, she's a bit interested in local culture and like people's stories and whatever. So I think she would probably enjoy a nice pint of Wrexham lager.
Yeah.
I just think that would be so her to have to come to a new place and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to try the lager.
I agree, and also as a bar lady, she respects the craft. She knows there's a lot of work put into it. She's a big fan of local brewers. She's going to support local business, Wrexham business. So 100% she's going to go for the Wrexham lager.
She would love it when we told her that it was potentially served on the Titanic as well. She'd love that story.
Oh, she would. I bet she loves a good story, which we're going to get onto just in a short amount of time. Don't you worry, Danny Roberts.
Excellent.
Now, Phil Mitchell's just rocked up.
Oh, yes.
And he's gone, I want oh, Christ. He's gone, I want some of your harder stuff. And so you're like, holy shit, this is Phil Mitchell. So immediately you run over to your back wall, I don't know what it's called, where the spirits are kept, and you have 3 spirits, Danny. Now with this one, you can either go for 3 different types of alcohol, like a vodka, gin, a rum, or you can go for 3 specific types of one alcohol, say 3 types of flavoured gin, or you could, if you want to be really crazy, go for 3 different types of alcohol, but specifics for each one. So like an Absolute vodka, a Gordon's gin, and a Captain Morgan's rum. Now, basically, I just said very complicatedly, you can have what you want. That's what I was trying to say. So what have you got to offer Phil?
Well, I was thinking about this, and with the weather being as it is at the moment, I definitely want a gin.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a sort of summery sort of drink. And I wouldn't go for any specific exciting gin. Probably just a normal, normal Gordon's, because it's probably got, it's probably the cheapest to buy in. So
yeah, true.
And then my second one, I think I'd go for like a Malibu rum, because again, it's quite summery. And if we're going for quite a sort of, camp fun place. People love, like, you can make a pina colada with it. Like, what?
Oh,
would you
yeah.
want?
Oh, fantastic. Exactly. If you can make a pina colada with a spirit, I think you're sorted.
Completely. So I think that's a must. Then my third one, it's going to be a bit controversial because I can't imagine many people would have 3 spirits and not have vodka.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm not.
Go on, Danny. Break the mould.
I know. I think, personally, Phil Mitchell would be well up for a shot of tequila before he goes out to the clubs.
Yeah, 100%. Or a bottle. You know what he's like, bloody
Yeah.
Phil.
Oh, yeah. Good old Phil. He wouldn't even have the salt and lemon. He'd just drink it.
Yeah. You'd offer him it and he'd give you a funny look and just down the bottle he'd go,
Yeah,
another
yeah.
one
Oh,
bites the dust.
he's such a great guy.
He really is. What a powerful person. Anyway, he's about to go for the tequila, but now this is something that Phil Mitchell doesn't want in the tabloids. He's actually a real fan of signature cocktails, but yeah, it doesn't really fit his kind of style. You know what he's trying to promote on the square, but he loves a signature cocktail. And as he's in Wrexham, he's a bit away from the spotlight. He's gonna go for the Dragon's Pride's signature cocktail. So, Danny, what are you going to offer him?
So I'm going to offer him. This is actually quite exciting. In keeping with my sort of dragon name, I'm going to call it, because dragons are mythological, I'm going to call it the Myth.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's such a mystery around that already, Danny. Continue.
Right? I just like to think a myth would be, the drink would be completely iconic. And also, I would intend on making it quite strong, because then people might not remember if it was real or not, like a myth.
No, Danny, you've done something there. That is fantastic.
Do you think?
Yeah. Also, I'm thinking, obviously it's your drink, but what's that like? Is it liquid nitrogen or something? Do you know the thing that makes it look like all like mystical?
Yeah, like they do in The Alchemist.
Yes, exactly like they do in The Alchemist. Right, sorry, continue, I'm interrupting.
Oh, that's all right. Funny you should say that, the liquid nitrogen. I didn't think of that, but so my ingredients, I want it to be red. That was my sort of thought process. So it'd be like tequila, vodka, a bit of cranberry juice, maybe a bit of grenadine.
Oh yeah, a bit exotic with the grenadine. I like it.
Yeah, something nice and sort of tart and fruity, I think, would be my thing. But then I wanted on top, I wanted a bit of froth. So I thought, they put a bit of like whisked egg whites on top.
Yes.
I thought that could be nice for a bit of froth, so it looks a bit like mysterious. But I think you've actually changed my mind, and I think Phil would prefer the excitement of the liquid nitrogen.
Have you seen the one they do where they get a bubble of it and then they pop it and it just like descends onto the drink?
Oh, it's brilliant. And what I love about them is that you get a bigger market, because people like Phil, who don't want people to think they like cocktails, can pretend they're getting it for the sort of sciencey, cool side of it. Yeah.
Also, like, if someone went, "Oh, what do you get at the pub?" I've got a Myth. First, it sounds a bit like Mythos, the Greek beer, and also it sounds proper funky. I love that. That's one of my favourites, Danny, I must say.
Really?
Yeah. Don't tell the others. Fantastic. Obviously Phil's going to go for that. Who are we kidding?
Yeah, I think so.
He's going to grab a Myth. Obviously, they get them free of charge. This is a pitch after all, and the two of them go and sit down. Now, about half an hour passes. You're a little bit nervous, but you're a bit more settled now because they both seem to like the drinks. They seem to be having a good time, and then Peggy goes, "Oi, Danny, over here." It's only going to get worse. And you go over and you go, "Hello, Peggy. Hello, Phil." And Phil's like, "All right," and then. And then you sit opposite Peggy, and I'm not going to do it for this, but I'll peter it in every now and then. And she looks at you and she goes, "Good start, it's going very well for you." And you're like, "Oh, thank you very much, Peggy." But she goes, I'm enjoying it, but at the minute, I feel a bit confused. I walk in and I can't quite get the vibe of the place. I can't quite work it out in my head. So what I want to know from you, Danny Roberts, is what is your best pub experience? Because then I know, as an investor, every time I walk in, you're going to try and represent that feeling of fun every time I walk in. That's what customers are going to come to expect from you. So what have you gone for, Danny?
Oh, good question. I would say my best pub experience, for me, speaking generally on the matter, is any time, when you're in the pub and you're with a group of mates or a mate or whatever, and then you get recognised by somebody else, and they come over and speak to you, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, this is my friend, and then you get to introduce people and all of that jazz. And specifically, there was a time over Christmas last year when me and my big sister went to the pub, and as we were in there, my little sister turned up, and she was underage at the time, and it was the first time we'd all been out in town together, and it was so brilliant because it was like seeing somebody that you don't expect to see in the pub, and being able to just like get together with them and have a laugh.
That is literally so true. That is one of my highlights. Is I used to have this thing for a good night, a little motto of mine, and it was for a good night. You need to go out with good people, and bump into people you know, and you also need to meet new people. But I think that middle one is a very, very good one because it's just such a surprise, and you're just full of happiness. You know, you're like, oh, this is great to see you, and it's when it's not planned. There's something a bit more fun about it, I think.
I completely agree. Like, it's such a nice feeling, especially for, I don't know what you find, having been away for a couple of years, but when I'm at home and I bump into people that I haven't maybe seen for a while, it's the best.
Yeah, I agree. It hits a bit differently when it's, and you need a bit of time, actually, because, you know, as you say, like, it's the complete shock of it. I have a guy I know, he used to go to school, called Ben Cross. We weren't ever the closest. But I was saying the other day that if I saw him in a pub, that would be the greatest, like, shock appearance of anyone in the world. And I don't know why, because it's one thing that I haven't seen in a very long time. You know, we were kind of decent acquaintances. Ben, if you're listening to this, reach out to me. But it's just like, it's just those random people you bump into. I love that. That's a very good shout, Danny. And also, like, a bit of a family element to it as well is quite nice.
That's true. But I'm gonna forego the play area because I don't want like really annoying kids in.
Oh yeah, no, agreed. That's a fantastic answer. Phil, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, Phil loves it as well. Right, fantastic, Danny. So you go away and you carry on. You're feeling a bit less nervous now because so far you've been kind of smashing this, Danny. I don't wanna like big you up too much, but you're doing a very good job.
Oh my god.
Now, Peggy and Phil having a great time. Now Phil, classic Phil, gets a bit too drunk. He loves the myths, he absolutely does. And he's got a brawl in the morning with someone who slept with his sister's twin. So he's got, you know, he's got a busy schedule.
Yeah.
You can tell how much EastEnders I watch. Even if he is from EastEnders, I hope he is.
He is, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. I heard Mitchell. I kind of went along that stream of consciousness. But yeah, he's got a busy day tomorrow, and so Peggy goes, "Oh, sober up, mate." And so Phil, you know what he does? He pulls out the food menu, and on that food menu is 3 set meals. Now, Danny, there's something I haven't told you, and that is, Peggy actually received an award, which was it was a national pub. What's it called? Pub owner. No, landlady. No, that's not it. Anyway, never mind. She got an award for being, you know, like an owner of a pub because she did it for so long. And a part of the award is you get a little medal, a little plastic medal, and you also get a time machine. And you know, she doesn't really use the time machine that much, but she just realised actually, if you want, say, any meals from your life, maybe one from when you were a bit younger, like any meals that are really, you know, significant to you, or if you'd like, say if you picked cod and chips, maybe it was a cod and chips you had somewhere when you were 12-year-old, you never know. So, once again, I'm horrifically over-elaborating. What I mean to say is you have free reign over your choices of food. So, Danny, what are your 3 options?
You know what, now that you've mentioned this time machine, you might have just sort of changed my answer a little bit.
Oh,
but I'm glad
fantastic.
you mentioned it. So I'm going to go right in with my new set menu meal number 1, which is actually, it was brilliant. It was fish and chips I had. I must have only been about 8, and it's really stuck in the old memory. And it was over in Scarborough, up in your neck of the woods.
Oh, I love Scarborough. Continue.
It was absolutely brilliant. I think we'd been the day before to Whitby and eaten in that place which is meant to be the best fish and chips.
Oh, the Magpie.
That's the one, yeah. Yep. And we were like, oh yeah, that was nice. But then the next day we went to Scarborough, bought a fish and chips from a random place on the seafront, sat on the beach and ate them, and they knocked spots off the Magpie.
Yeah, I agree. I think Magpie's way overrated. Literally, I have family who live there, and so we go up every summer or so. And every time you walk past the Magpie, there's a queue outside the door, and I'm like, there are plenty of good fish and chips around. You know, you don't have to pay a fair penny for a good one. And yes, Scarborough's magnificent. They do these massive ice creams, like 3 foot long ice creams, like massive cones. You should, if you ever go back, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'd like to actually.
Oh, Scarborough's fantastic. We could do the podcast on Scarborough, but I'm gonna try and stick on topic, Danny, and ask you for option number 2.
Right, option number 2. I can't put my finger on any more specific options. So option number 2, I'm gonna go classic, and I'm gonna go for pie and chips.
Oh, any pie in particular?
Probably steak and ale pie.
Yeah, it's a pub staple, isn't it?
It is, and I feel like you'd get You'd really sell a lot of them because it's a good one to sober you up, especially if Phil's had too many myths.
Yeah, I bet he bloody has. Yeah, and also it's got ale in it, so he can kind of get away with it as well. Oh, I'm still on the lash. So yeah, fantastic option. Option numero 3, please, Danny.
Oh right. So this is going to sound dead time vegetarians and vegan, but I couldn't actually bring myself to put a vegetarian option in over a lasagna.
Yeah. Oh, lasagna. No one's gone for lasagna, I don't think.
Really?
That's a very good choice. Obviously, steak and ale's a classic, as a, cod and chips, burgers, but no, I don't think anyone's gone for a lasagna. And we have had an Italian-themed restaurant, so... sorry, pub.
In a pub?
I meant an Italian-themed pub. But that's a fantastic option. Why lasagna, Danny?
Well, so I had a lasagna on so I went to the pub on my 18th birthday, and that's what I had then. So I think I've just got really fond memories of a lasagna. So I want to share that.
Yeah, with all of the punters coming by. What do you think Phil's going to go for?
So I'm going to say Phil's going to go for the pie.
Yeah, it's quite stodgy. And Peggy's going to grab some food as well. What do you recommend for her?
I think Peggy's going to go for the fish and chips.
Yeah, I feel like it's once again some classic staples there, and I don't think they're quite adventurous enough for a lasagna just of yet.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Now the two of them, they eat the grub, they love it. Once again, you're just ticking all the boxes. You're almost getting a bit too confident. You're like, God, I can't do anything wrong, it seems. And the night carries on a bit, another half an hour or so, let's say. And Phil, he comes up to you, and you think he's going to punch you in the face, but he actually gives you a massive hug. And he goes, I love this song. Now, what Phil doesn't realise is you've just got yourself, Danny, a brand spanking new jukebox. But because it's so new, you've only had time to put one album on it. But you chose an album so good that now you just play that same album on repeat, because it is the perfect album for the Dragon's Pride. So, what I want to know is, what album have you picked, and what song does Phil Mitchell bloody love?
Oh, brilliant. I'm really going to struggle to tell you my answer to this, because you're going to think I'm being a bit daft, but I actually am quite serious about it.
Okay.
So I've thought outside the box a bit, and I've decided to put a compilation album on, namely Now 71.
Now 71. What are some of the bangers off that album?
Oh, Alex, I tell you what, it's excellent. It's got like The Promise by Girls Aloud, Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon.
Oh, hello.
It's got like Spotlight, Jennifer Hudson, Begging by Madcon. It's like, and I just think it's excellent. And because it is a compilation album, it's got something for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. But a crowd pleaser, that's what you want.
Yeah. So I think Phil's loving the album, but specifically, I'd say the song that's on that he's loving. I'm going to go for Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon. Yeah,
I bet he sits in his room at night and listens to Kings of Leon and weeps. I think that's
I completely agree.
Phil Mitchell type of afternoon. Yeah, and that's why he hooks you, because there's a real strong emotional connection to the song. Fantastic option, Dave. No one's gone, I don't think. Once again, I say these things and then people are like, why the hell are you forgetting our podcast? But I'm pretty sure that is our first compilation, so I'm a massive fan of that.
Excellent.
The night continues, and Danny, you're just like, I can't do anything wrong, can I? God, I'm amazing. And, another 20 minutes passes. Phil and Peg come up to you and they go, and they say exactly this. This is very important. They say exactly these words. Oi, Danny, What game / or activity do you have for us to play? Or do, or watch. So what have you got, Danny?
Right. Well, Phil and Peggy, I'm pleased to offer you some entertainment, actually, because I've decided to have a performance stage. And I've got very specific reasons for this. Oh, the dog's barking again.
She loves a performance stage, or he.
Yeah, so I've decided on that because there's a lot you can do with it, including the number one staple, which is the weekly karaoke night.
Yeah, gotta be.
But then a great idea came to mind, actually very recently. So I would have, obviously the pub's called the Dragon's Pride, which is sort of encompassing of like Welshness and gay people and like just everything I love.
Yeah.
So I was thinking you could have like a drag night called the Drag's Pride.
Oh my, you've fuck me. That's incredible.
Do you think that's good?
That's superb. Drag's night, the Dragon's Pride. Oh my god.
Yeah, and Peggy would love it. Peggy would absolutely go mad for it.
Fantastic.
Definitely. And I think even though Phil wasn't happy when Ben Mitchell, came out, which was quite sad for Ben, he was quite harsh about it.
Yeah.
I think now he's sort of come round a bit, and I think Phil would probably be the sort of guy who'd get pulled up on stage to get participate.
Yeah, I bet after a couple of drinks, I think he'd be proper up for it.
Get him another myth, and he'll be on the stage with his, with his thighs in the air.
Literally myths all around. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that because you haven't just there's a bit of thought into that, Danny. Because you're not just gone for a performance stage. You've got some proper quality nights in there, and I'm a big fan of those. I'd love to see the weekly timetable for the stage. I'm sure you get a load of good events on there. A couple of sketch shows,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, sketch show.
Oh, fantastic, Danny! Absolutely lovely. I think it is. Should we call it Drag Night tonight?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Phil and Peggy, they have a sit and they enjoy a fantastic show. Now, as you know, Peggy's a very busy and important woman, and she gets a very important phone call from another person we send us who I don't know the name of, and she.
Sharon Mitchell.
Sharon Mitchell, yes, definitely. Sharon's on the phone, and Peggy, she's quite polite. There's a show on. She goes outside to take it. Anyway, it's a false alarm. Everything's fine. She thought someone was trying to break into the house. It was just the dog.
Okay.
It's all fine. She puts the phone down. She turns back to go back into the pub. And she notices what she didn't notice on the way in, a blackboard. And on that blackboard is a little, pubs have little signature messages on those blackboards.
Oh, yeah.
Now, whilst a blackboard message isn't that important, Peggy's currently outside the pub and she sees this message. I'm not going to lie, if she thinks it's absolutely shite, she might just walk off and that's it. Even though you smashed it so far, that's how flimsy the pub business is. So it needs to be a good old message, Danny. So what have you gone for?
Oh, this opened up a can of worms for me. I'm going to quickly tell you a little anecdote from my very brief time working in a pub.
Of course.
I was 17, I think. It was my first day working in a pub. Long story short, they asked me to repaint the blackboard outside, and they gave me the black paint and the paintbrush and whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought they meant repaint the frame and not the actual board. So they've now got a blackboard which is painted black on all over. This kind of did hurt to think about this question.
Oh, Danny.
Yeah, it was really embarrassing. And then I quit shortly after because I don't think they ever looked at me the same way.
No, they couldn't forgive you for it. That's one of those, like genuinely, I would do, something like that where you interpret a job quite literally. And, also, it's already black. Why would you paint it black again? You'd obviously do the outside.
Yeah, so I just didn't realise that you had to paint it. I thought you'd just sort of dust the chalk off and start from scratch, but you have to paint it every time, apparently.
Bloody hell. So what have you gone for as your actual message?
Right, so first and foremost, I trained someone up for the job so nobody gets embarrassed about it. But the message that I want on the old blackboard, for inspiration for this, I went into basically my house at home has got a lot of shit wall art slogans that they sell in
100%. Live, laugh, love, and drink gin.
Perfect. That's the one. So I've got two options. I'm actually going to put this to Peggy and let Peggy decide.
Okay, fantastic.
So I'm either going to go for let the drinking be gin.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, isn't that good? That's actually up in my shed at home. And another one, which is also up in my shed at home, is a good friend makes you laugh so hard that tears run down your legs.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that one as well. Oh, this is one more difficult than I was thinking. I think I am going to go let the drinking begin, because I'm a stickler for a pun. I do. Oh, sorry, Peggy, obviously. Loves a good old pun. And she sees it, and you know what she does? She goes, hey, and then she walks in. She absolutely loves it. And she sits back down. Now, Danny, you are literally living your best life. At this point, you could almost guarantee you have your pub. And on cue, she calls you over to the cubicle, and you almost skip over, and you're like, how there, Peg? How you doing? You all right? And she goes, shut up.
I would flirt.
Yeah, definitely. And she goes, shut up, you. And you're like, oh, shit. And she goes, okay, tell you something.
Oh, no.
You're just too good to be true. We don't believe you. We think you're a fraud. And you're like, but I've done everything I can. But no, it's absolute bollocks. So what I need to know from you before Philly takes you outside is to firstly apologise for my atrocious accent, and then secondly, we need you to destroy your character so that we actually believe you're a real person. And the way we want you to do that, to prove that you're a real geezer, is to tell us your most embarrassing story that you don't mind being on a podcast. So what have you got? See, basically, Danny, you've got to defame yourself, because they just think you're it's a lie. You could be laundering money for all they know. Like, they need to know that you're a real human being with real human flaws. So, Danny, what is your most embarrassing pub story?
Well, Miss Peggy Mitchell, let me tell you a story. No, I'm joking. So I think basically it's not personally embarrassing, but I've had a lot of instances in pubs where I've got into a cubicle to have a wee, and there's been, shall we say, a bit of a mess left in it.
Oh, dear Lord.
And on many an occasion, as I've walked out, somebody else has walked in.
Oh,
so
Danny.
I think a lot of people must think of me as somebody who doesn't flush the chain, and I think that's probably the worst for me.
There's no way out of that.
None.
And you'll be drinking, and then you'll see them come out the toilets, and they'll just give you a look, and you're like, there's nothing you can say. The more you try and deny it, the more likely it's your shit.
Exactly, and you know that they're going to tell their mates, and their mates are going to be pissing themselves about it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be known in that pub as the boy who, defaced the bogs.
I feel like there's one detail we're missing, Danny, and that's that you've got a weird stalker who goes to the toilet before you, does a horrific shit, and then leaves the toilet. You've got a real weird person on your radar.
Can you imagine? That would be so well timed.
Yeah, but it seems to happen too often. It's like, there aren't any coincidences in this pub game.
Ooh, okay.
So basically, watch out, Danny.
Yeah.
So you tell your story. Or your example of these stories, and Peggy and Phil are silent. And then it's very subtle, but you've learnt to read, you've watched her for years, you've learnt to read Peggy Mitchell's face, and she offers you that it would look like a twitch to a normal person, but you can decipher that as a little grin, and she goes, you've got yourself a pub. Yes, Danny, you've done it!
Thank you, Peggy.
You've got all the funding you want, and the premise doesn't work because we're already in your pub, but who gives a fuck? You've done it. It's fantastic. Now, not only did you smash it, Danny, and just as a personal highlight for me, I loved your I love some of your choice of your drinks were very economical, because you did think about a business, and I must say that myth is a fantastic option, as is your name of your pub. Two absolute classics there, Danny, so congratulations. But the main thing is that because you did so well, you've earned yourself a signing on bonus.
Oof.
And that signing on bonus is the use of Peggy Mitchell's rarely used time machine. And you can use all the influence Peggy Mitchell has accumulated over the years to get yourself a pint with 5 people, dead or alive, friend or foe, ridiculously famous, or just some random guy who chills in the pub. Anyone you want, you have the options of getting into your pub to have a drink with as a signing on bonus. Now, Peggy carries Phil out because he's absolutely sloshed. And because it's a time machine, the moment they walk out, 5 people walk in. Danny, who are your 5 and why?
Well, this was tricky. As you know me quite well. I am an awful sucker for a celebrity, like a Z-list pop culture icon. That's what I live for. So I had to really resist the urge to just pick absolute shit people. Like, my list has changed a lot of times. The first name I actually wrote down was Ollie Murs, because I just want to figure him out.
Yeah.
Then
there's a lot going on. He dyed his hair, Danny. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, he's a lot, isn't he? So I scrapped Ollie, and I went with someone far more respectable for my first pint, and that's Rylan.
Oh, yes, of course. They're definitely not Ollie, but Ryan's a fantastic choice. Why, Danny? Why?
Well, I think Rylan is just, like, first and foremost, the best person ever. Like, he's funny, he's like shit to a blanket when it comes to ITV. Like, he will host whatever comes out, and I want that kind of star power.
Yeah.
But also, I think he'd be a really good person to have in the pub for the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, agreed. That'll be, I agree with that, actually. I think if he's there, I think people are around. I think he'd include everyone, and everyone would have a really good time. Yeah,
I just think he's great. So definitely he'd be my first pint.
Fantastic.
My second pint, I'm going to go for, I know you said Dead or Alive, so I decided to go for one of my favourite singers ever, Amy Winehouse.
Oh, great option.
I just think she was absolutely, like, incredible and just way too talented. And I'd just love to, like, have been able to have a chat with her before she died. So she'd be my number 2 option, and she'd probably be the one I'd be most excited for.
Yeah, I think I think she'd be an incredibly interesting person. And she has such an amazing mind. Fantastic singer.
Have you watched the documentary film about her?
No, and I remember it coming out, and I have this really weird thing where I see loads of documentaries I want to watch, and I never watch documentaries, even though I find them really interesting. Is it any good?
It's really, really good. It's very hard to watch, but if you like a good documentary, I'd definitely give it a go.
Yeah, fantastic. Option number 3.
Option number 3, I've decided to go for Joe Lycett.
Oh, fantastic. Poor Kay, why?
Again, a bit of a Ryland type. Perfect to have in the pub, because everyone seems to like him. He's a really good laugh. He'd probably get up to no good and just cause havoc in the pub, which I think would be really good fun.
Yeah.
And he'd just be somebody really good to have, like, a gossip with.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I agree. And also, he looks out for the little person. He does a lot of. He's got a new show that is always, stopping bastard landlords and things. So yeah, he'd also. I think. He'd buy everyone a drink. I think that's what Joe Lycett would do.
I would like to think so too, actually.
Yeah, fantastic choice. Option number 4.
Option number 4 is Anne Robinson, who used to host The Weakest Link. Like, I don't know what it is about her, but I just think I've got the same kind of fascination with her that I have with, like, Peggy Mitchell. Mm-hmm. I just think she's, like, formidable, and I'd love her to take the piss out of me.
Yeah, she'd be fun. Oh my god, she'd be fantastic. I don't know how she hasn't been picked yet. I'm not going to lie to you, Danny.
Has she not?
Yeah, a revolutionary, because that would be the first answer on everyone's lips. I think that's a fantastic choice. I mean, she just ripped the shit out of everyone, wouldn't she? Wouldn't take any shit.
Yeah, between the 4 that I've already got and my 5th one that you're about to hear, I would just have the best gang of, like, people with banter. It'd be great.
Also, yeah, she has got sick banter. Like, she could just destroy anyone in a room, which you want, if any dickheads come into the pub, you don't need Peggy Mitchell to sort them out. Just get Anne Robinson on them.
Yeah. Plus, we got a performance stage, so we could do, like, a roast night.
Oh my
Anne Robinson.
God, with Anne Robinson. I mean, she should have done it by now anyway, but that is a fantastic choice, Danny.
Yeah. I might get in contact with her agent, see if I can persuade them.
Well, she listens to the podcast, so...
Yeah. Hi,
Anne. Fantastic. Option number 5.
Option number 5 is definitely my weirdest one, so this is bizarre, and I don't know why he came to mind, but Roald Dahl.
Yes, Roald Dahl. 100% Roald Dahl.
He's just great, and also, he's Welsh, so he'd fit right in. Plus, he's got the same birthday as me, which is a fun fact. So I'd love him to come down for my birthday.
Oh, have a joint birthday celebration with Roald Dahl. That'd be sick.
It'd be sick. It's just a shame he's dead.
Oh, shit.
But, we could, dedicate my birthday to his memory a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But, assuming the time machine was real, and I
Oh,
could,
yeah, no,
bring
it definitely
back,
is.
I'd just be able to get to know his, really fascinating mind and his ideas and how he just, captured such crazy parts of the imagination for kids. And for me, growing up, them books were my shit. I loved them.
They were fantastic Roald Dahl books, absolutely. And he's one of those people in a pub who he just starts talking and everyone stops and listens.
Definitely.
I think he'd have a great tall tale.
Can you imagine, actually? Because schedule for the performance stage, Amy Monday night, singing.
Yeah.
Rylan Tuesday night, comedy.
Yeah.
Joe Lycett Wednesday night, comedy. Anne Robinson Thursday, roast. Yes. Roald Dahl Friday night, book reading.
Oh, that is perfect. And then Drag Nights on the Saturday.
Oh, mate, we've got it all sussed here.
And karaoke on the Sunday. That is the perfect week, Danny Roberts. That is absolutely fantastic choice. Now, Danny, you're having a great night. Everyone is throwing loads of praise at you, apart from Anne, about how great the pub is. Everyone's getting on. It's such a funny night, literally the best night of your life. And it gets to about 11 o'clock, still early, about midway through the evening. And everyone's been, buying you drinks and everything for you all night. And you go, right, stop it, you silly people. I'm going to go and get you a drink. You walk to the bar and you completely forget to have asked them. So, as your final question, Danny, I would like to know what you think each of your guests would drink. And finally, what is your go-to drink and what would you get in the round as well?
Ooh, good question. Right, let's see. Amy, I'm just going to get a pint of Carlsberg, I think.
Yeah.
I'm torn between that and a gin, because I reckon she'd like a gin and tonic. Yeah, I'm going to change my mind. Double gin and tonic.
Go for double gin and tonic, fantastic.
Ryland's definitely having the cocktail.
Yeah, he's having a myth.
Yeah, in fact, I might even get him two because he's going out after probably.
Oh yeah. And to be fair, you never have one myth. You got to have one or two at least.
That's so true. What's Joe Lycett going to have? I think Joe Lycett probably going to get a glass of white wine.
Yes. The fruity Sauvignon Blanc.
And then Anne, I'd actually get the red wine.
Yeah.
Because I think I can see them two sort of, swirling it around the glasses and all that, having a good bitching sesh.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I think Roald Dahl, I think I'd get him a pint of the Wrexham lager.
Yeah, because as you say, he loves stories. He loves a bit of grounded history, I think.
So I think he'd really appreciate that. And then out of my own pub offerings, I think I would have the cocktail myself.
Oh, well, I mean, it is absolutely fantastic, so it makes a lot of sense, Danny.
Would you have the cocktail?
I would. If I was going to job, I'd have the cocktail, and I'd be in awe at the bloody mist and all the bloody egg froth, all of it. Danny Roberts, you've done it. Not only have you created a fantastic pub and been a fantastic guest, but you've also been able to have a drink with 5 fantastic people. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, mate, I've had a brilliant time.
It's been a lot of fun, including, I think the dog enjoyed it. I've got 4 more thank yous, if you don't mind hanging around for just 2 seconds.
Go ahead.
First one is to Sam Nason for the graphics. Second one is to Jack Pethram for the jingle. Third one is to all our lovely listeners, and by all our lovely listeners, I mean all the people Danny gets to listen. Thank you, Danny. And the final thank you is one of those little tricks of mine. It's back to you, Danny. Thank you again for being absolutely stellar. It's been so much fun. You've been fantastic.
You got me
there. Hey, it's always got the M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end. Yeah, it's been brilliant. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Build a Pub podcast.